My dad just decided he's not gonna pay for my wedding anymore. So let me tell you what happened. My parents raised me to be an independent thinker. It's the year 2023. Women are not property anymore, which is why I decided I will be walking myself down the aisle. My parents do not own me, and I'm not some property to be given away. My dad keeps going back to the point of, we've never treated you as property. Why would you say that? Because the other day he came back to me and said, well, if you want to be independent, then you can pay for it yourself. Which to me still feels like, if you're not going to do your wedding the way I want, then I'm not going to pay for it. And that just doesn't feel right to me. Do we agree that my dad's being a complete right now? Really hoping he comes around, because there's no way I can afford this wedding if he doesn't help me with it.
She has every right to not have her dad give her away. As a strong, independent, fully grown woman, she should expect nothing less. She also should expect that her dad also has rights, including the right not to spend thousands of his hard-earned cash. If walking a daughter down aisle is sexist, then the father paying the wedding must be too. It's not like one can choose what traditions other people have to follow and only pick those that benefit you personally. Also, walking your daughter down the aisle isn't about giving her away as property, it's about giving approval for another man to be there to support her and care for her in your place. The total lack of respect, gratitude, and selflessness on her part is astounding. She is about to go out into the world and yet has not learned humbleness, appreciation, and gratitude for the gifts she has received from life and her family. The guy she's marrying should take a long, hard look at this. He's in for a lifetime of misery.
Like, my marriage was temporary from the beginning. Like, that I wasn't gonna make it. And here we are, 10 years later, going through a divorce.
This marriage was her starter marriage. The main intention is to marry someone for 10 years or lower, so as to divorce and get financial freedom.
So he didn't really start this process. I guess it was more so me, because I was always looking for someone else, because
Shocker.
I didn't know how to be loved or how to accept love from somebody. While he was fighting for me, I was pushing him away. But I never truly accepted happiness. I left the good guy. I left the guy that everybody looks at and is like, that's a dad, that's a husband, that's how it's supposed to be. He did the dishes, he cleaned the house, he took the kids to school, he worked all day, he made good money, he supported us. I mean, yeah, we had our problems, but he was the good guy. So I'm here to tell you, it's okay to leave the good guy.
I think if you marry someone with the intent of divorcing them as soon as you get bored, that makes you the clinical definition of a sociopath. Planning a divorce even before marriage is delusional, irrational, and the very definition of mental instability. No wonder men just leave and don't bother looking back. What happens to bother me more than the fact that women do this is that they openly brag about it. I have heard women say, never let your current husband prevent you from meeting your future husband. Some women do not see marriage as a long-term commitment, but as a career, and they will move husband to husband until retiring. And when you get right down to it, some women aren't really interested in the romantic, sentimental, lovey-dovey aspects of marriage. It's a stone-cold business deal, like buying stocks that you dump at the right moment to cash in on your investment. This woman will soon find out that a single mother in her 30s isn't very desirable in this current dating scene, given that majority of the men are enlightened about the dangers of such individuals.
Here's why women regret divorce more than men. Financially speaking, women's lives get worse after the divorce, while men's get better. The standard of living for women goes down an average of 27%, while the standard of living for men goes up 10%. So you can see why women may feel that their lives get worse after divorce, because their standards of living go down while their ex-husband's standard of living goes up.
This is true. After I went through a nasty divorce and had to pay my ex a bunch of money, I went into super frugal mode. What I discovered is that before the divorce, my wife and I were pulling well into the six figures and felt like we were still struggling. But after the divorce, I was fine when living alone and only drew $35K per year salary from my business. That's it. That was all that I was spending. The other $120K or so we made before the divorce was unneeded. Somehow we were spending most of it. Obviously, I was not. Interestingly, since I was not drawing as much off my business took off. This shows you how much drag that woman was putting on me. Same, basically. Made good money for years, accumulated huge debt anyway, divorced, paid off all debt, lived frugally, and saved aggressively, then bought a mountain with no debt. Despite my own mistakes, that's when I knew spending wasn't a me problem. In a rare occurrence, the lady in the next clip was ordered to pay alimony and child support or pay debts after she divorced her husband. Let's hear what she has to say.
When I was married for 13 years, and I was the breadwinner, right? He was a small business owner, so tax returns, write-offs, all the things. And I worked full-time W-2 making over 6 figures a year. So when it came down to time for our divorce, even though the reasons of the divorce were not my fault fully, no, I shouldn't say that. I'm just as much to be held accountable for the divorce as him. Anyways, because I made the majority of the money on paper, I was required to take all of the debt in my divorce or pay him alimony or child support. And quite frankly, you got me f***ed up because ain't no motherfucker. So I willingly took all of the debt and 100% am supposed to pay for all of the kids' activities and all of the things, which I do. And literally everybody in my life told me not to do that. And I thought, it's fine, I've got it, I'll be able to handle it. Everything's fine, I'm gonna be able to do it. And here we are 2 years out and I'm literally f***ing drowning. I'm not gonna sit in victim mentality, but it should not be this f***ing hard.
This lady had a 6-figure job and a husband who probably took a lion's share of the work with the kids to allow her to make that nice fat check. She then chooses to divorce this dude and now she had to pay the debts. Somehow when women have to pay alimony, they understand how fucked up the divorce laws are. It's all fun and games to them until they're the ones forking out the cash. I was impressed that she actually accepted equal responsibility for the end of her marriage. With that, I am glad she told her story and that women are finally starting to get the full experience of being a man in today's world. Also, don't forget that if her husband was in the same position, the judge would have pinned everything on him. She somehow got to pick between debt or alimony and child support, so she's lucky compared to the men who gets destroyed by these biased family courts. All it takes is a vindictive, butthurt ex to make your life absolutely shit, and the courts smile at you while they hand out their judgment with zero care about you as the father. Our courts have been corrupted by money-grabbing lawyers. They want to see couples split, for that means more money for them. Feminists who have no interest in seeing men getting treated fairly are made judges. I recommend you guys to watch this video that went viral 3 months ago, where this dad narrates how the courts ruined him and sent him to jail after paying his ex-wife millions. We have also seen men going to jail because of not paying child support for a child who is biologically not his. Fathers and children are suffering due to outdated family and parental laws that do not have children's best interest in mind. Hopefully sanity prevails in these courts.